So welcome to this ArabWIC call around women in data science. I'll first hand over to Sana O'Day. Please go ahead, Sana.
Yes, again, thanks so much, Susan, for what you're doing, leading all the programming for us. You and Manar are, are really important for what we do. Again, we have 19 chapters, so you're driving the programming and the coordination with the chapters, you and Manar. So it's really, really important. Also, thanks so much for all the chapters and all what you do to us. I mean, there is more than 100 events that happens a year, and you do all of that. So that's really tremendous. And part of what we want to do this year is really collaborate with more organizations to try to achieve more what we want. And when we were talking about our program, one of the events or the organization that we really care about so much, and we feel like it brings so much value to people globally, is Women Data Science at Stanford. And I met Judy a long time ago, and we've introduced her to several people. We've had several events, and now we would really like to take this event to much more efficient and elevated to reach more people and have it systematic, organized, where we have it on International Women's Day through the Arab world, and we do it on one day, for example, if we can, or in 1 week, where we set up WIDS led by Arab Women Computing throughout all our chapters, if we can, and I think we can, and it will be coordinated by Susan and Manar. They will do the branding, and we will work with Judy to make sure that ArabWIC and ArabWIC logo is also on the event. And it's also stated that we clearly lead the event, because like we say, we really appreciate what women in data science at Stanford are doing, especially what Judy's doing. They're global reach, and this is one of the great event that we think that it really has a huge impact. At the same time, in the past, we've been doing this event, but we want also to make sure that Arab women in computing get the credit for organizing and leading these events in the Arab world. So it's a partnership, and I think Judy is agreeing on this. So we'll work out, Susan and Manar will follow up. And we want to make sure that it's quality event from all level, and it's a partnership that will continue in the future to reach and support women in computing across the world, and to see how we can elevate and reach and have a really wide support for women data science and women computing across. So Judy, I have to say thank you so much for this idea, for also caring to take this globally. I know it's really hard, and also caring enough to meet with me every time you come to Grace Hopper Conference and reach out and always talk, always considerate, and taking also our consideration. So I really want to thank you, and I just want to assure you that this is something that we care about. It's from really something that we want to do every year with you. We want to partner with you, and we're going to learn from there will be mistakes, we'll learn from it, and we'll move on. But it's a great partnership, and I'm really happy that you're here. So thank you so much, and I really look forward to our collaborations. So whether it's Datathons or WIDS, and I'm sure more and more will come out of this. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sana. I really appreciate that. And if you could see me on video, I'd be blushing just a little bit.
So we have a few more people joined. So the people who joined, please put who you represent, which chapter, or whether you're part of the leadership team. We have, of course, Dr. Manar and Dr. Kotar, who are both leaders of ArabWIC, and of course our founder, Dr. Sana. And now we'll hand over to Judy to share the WIDS program with us.
Fantastic. So delighted to speak to you all today. And Sana, before you drop off, I just wanted to say, yes, we met, I think it was in the Grace Hopper booth, I think in maybe even 2016.
Yes, that's true.
And that was just the beginning of a really nice collaboration. We've been very grateful to work with chapters of ArabWIC since we took the conference global, when we met, we hadn't gone global yet. We were a technical conference just at Stanford. And so you've been with us from the very beginning. We want to make sure that we've got appropriate visibility for ArabWIC throughout the region. And I know you know I'm committed to doing that. And I think we have a good plan moving forward. So grateful for the collaboration over the years. And also thank you, Susan, for being such a good collaborator, both in both of your roles, including this ArabWIC role that you play. Before I begin, I just wanted to, there's in the lower left corner, you'll see this ICME logo. I just wanted to explain it. I work for the Institute for Computational and Mathematical Engineering at Stanford. That is the group that spearheads the Women in Data Science initiative. And so that group it's an institute with master's and PhD students. It's a degree granting institute. So it's everything computational math. We have students who work with every school across campus and doing things like computational finance with Graduate School of Business, working in biomedicine with our med school, education, geosciences, you name it. We're actually working on all of it with the computational mathematics and engineering. So just wanted to give you that little bit of background, and that's the reason why we started the initiative. So I'm just gonna, I know that you all know the issues with being women in computing. And so I just wanted to show you a little bit about why we started the Women in Data Science and the data that we were seeing. So what we've noticed is in the US is that women in CS have sort of, the people who are studying computer science in the US, the number of women has gone down as a percentage. And that was a very disturbing trend to us. As you can see, that's also plays out in this other bit of data. And when you see the engineering number go up, that's primarily around bioengineering, and the addition of bioengineering to that statistic. But you can see that in computer science and mathematics, it has, that in the years between 2006 and 2016, it went down. So these are some of the data points that we were looking at. In addition, retention is a problem. So it used to be that women and men were about equal in terms of retention, but anyway, now actually the longer someone is in an engineering career, the less likely they're going to stay if they're female. So that was another challenge that we saw that we wanted to address. And last but not least, this is actually happening at every level. So what's happening is, while we're almost equal at the entry level, by the time you get to the C-suite, it's dramatically different. And of course, the statistics are way worse for women of color. And so that's actually also a disturbing trend that we were seeing and that we continue to see. In addition to that, we actually had attended a Stanford conference and on data science, and there was an all-male panel. And when we asked the organizers what happened there, they said, oh, you know, Margot and Fei Li couldn't make it. So essentially they were just looking at two data scientists or data science speakers, and that they thought that was the only women they could possibly ask to be speakers. So that was pretty disturbing. They found it okay to have an all-male panel. And this was what KDD in 2014 looked like for their data science and social good. And I'm glad to report that KDD is doing a beautiful job now. They've addressed this problem, and so it's not like this. But a lot of other conferences are there still. This one is my personal favorite. How an all-male panel can talk about women in math anyway, that was mystifying to us, at least. So that's why we started WIDS, and we started it with 3 goals. One is to support women who are currently in the field. You saw those retention numbers. And then we also wanted to inspire students and people who might be changing careers, by the way. That is something that people are interested in. People who are in related fields are interested into data science. And then we wanted to educate all participants, regardless of gender. So we wanted to inspire female students, but we want to inspire everyone, really. But we want to support women in the field. By the way, we do feature outstanding women who are doing outstanding work, but all genders are encouraged to participate by attending. So we started with a technical conference in 2015. When I joined this group, we thought that we were just going to have one technical conference a year from Stanford with 400 attendees, and that was going to be the end of it. But we sold out really quickly. And then we added a live stream, and much to our surprise, 6,000 people showed up on the live stream, and they showed up from all over the world. And so that made us realize that we had sort of touched a nerve. And so that is when we decided to go global with WIDS. And what we did is, if you fast forward to 2019, we actually had 144, actually I think it's 145 events worldwide, and we were in 50 plus countries, 54 countries, and we had over 100,000 people participating online, either via live stream or Facebook Live. Now, the other important data point that's not on here is that the number of in-person attendees has also grown year over year. We actually had over 20,000 people attending all of these in-person events at Stanford and worldwide. So that puts us, we're sort of close to Grace Hopper in terms of the number of attendees if you consider all of the regional events. So here's just a sort of a smattering of some of the events worldwide. We've got, this was South Korea, Kuwait, this is Beirut. I can't remember what this one is, but this one is in London. So anyway, just really a great, great group of women. And those events are held by WIDS ambassadors worldwide. And WIDS ambassadors are people who sign up. We actually grant a branding license for the WIDS brand to use for the regional events. And we provide some support and some materials. We call it WIDS in a virtual box, where we provide planning templates, we provide guidelines, we provide branding materials, we provide the regional event logos, including the regional event logos, and then we provide ongoing questions and support. We also provide networking with other WIDS ambassadors worldwide, both online and in person. So online, we actually have a Slack channel where we provide all of these materials. And it's also a way for you to ask questions of one another or to network with other WIDS ambassadors worldwide. I'd also be happy to start a Slack channel specifically for WIDS Arab and ArabWIC, if that is something that you'd like. And then that way you can communicate with one another more easily. And then we also have WIDS ambassador meetups periodically. We had one in August at Stanford, and we had about, I think we had 45 WIDS ambassadors attending from 15 countries, but they were representing actually 5 continents. So we did not have Antarctica represented, nor did we have anyone from Australia, New Zealand area, but we had representation from the rest of the world. We also have had we've also had these meetups during Grace Hopper and also during Strata Conference in New York. So we don't have those every year. We do have the one in August at Stanford every year, and it coincides with some summer workshops. So you can get some online, you can get some in-person training as well on things like intro to deep learning or intro to natural language processing, etc. And then you can also attend the WIDS meetup. So anyway, that you can see this is actually Wafa Ben Turki from Algeria. Let's see, and we have lots of others. Oh, and here's Lamia from Morocco. And in fact, we've been working, as Sana said, we've been working with members of ArabWIC for a long time. Wafa Wahida, who is from WIDS Qatar, has been with us from the beginning. She has been putting on WIDS in Doha, and she's been corralling multiple universities and multiple groups in order to make it happen. She's just a real force. We really are grateful to her. Arij Awabil, Dr. Arij in Saudi Arabia has started in Riyadh, but then she's also gone to other parts of Saudi Arabia and now is really sort of she's got collaborators all over Saudi Arabia who are working with her in Jeddah and etc. So we expect to have more events in Saudi Arabia with Dr. Arij. And then Lamia in WIDS Rabat. Last year we were a part of the ArabWIC conference that was in Rabat, the annual conference. So we were a subset of the ArabWIC conference, thanks to Lamia. We also were in Palestine with Aya Sufan last year and hope to do so again. And we were in Dubai with Ala Shaheen. And last but not least, this year and also in 2017, Wafa Ben Turki from WIDS Algeria was in WIDS Algiers in Algeria. So the two collaborators I don't have on here are Susan and Sana, but they are sort of, the leadership, right, of ArabWIC, and so they also deserve to be included in this list. They're ambassadors to multiple events. And so I just wanted you to know that there's a deep tradition already with ArabWIC in working with the Women in Data Science Initiative. So now that we've got a global conference, and now that that's been established, we've expanded what we do. And for we're going into our third annual WIDS Datathon. We hope to, this year it's going to be focused on a healthcare challenge. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. We also have a podcast series where we actually interview women from around the world who are doing data science work. We talk about their work, and then we also talk about the journeys. That is hosted by Professor Margot Gerritsen from Stanford, who is just a fantastic interviewer. Definitely encourage you to check that one out and propose some potential guests. We are looking for more people to interview. In addition to that, we're starting an education outreach program, and that's actually into high schools. So we're piloting a program this year for high school outreach. I do not have a lot of information about that program as it is a pilot, but we hope to be able to expand it next year to the rest of the world. So WIDS is happening at Stanford on March 2nd, 2020. And so that's sort of, that's when, if you wanted to take videos from the WiDS Stanford event, you definitely can do that. So one thing I should mention is that many of our WiDS ambassadors have taken our live stream or our video sessions from either this, the current conference or prior conferences, and incorporated it into their regional events. So that is definitely a possibility, and I can provide links to all of the videos so you can take a look and see if that's of interest. A lot of them are really quite good still, and they've stood the test of time, even the 2015 versions. So that's happening on March 2nd. We opened registration yesterday. We're already halfway sold out of the tickets. So if you'd like to come, act quickly. We have academia discounts and student discounts. I mentioned that we've got a Datathon. So we've always focused on a predictive analytics challenge and a social good challenge. The first year we did the Datathon, it was with financial services for the poor data, working with the Gates Foundation grantee. Last year, it was an environmental challenge and image classification challenge. And this year, we're going to be working on a healthcare data set, working with MIT, U Toronto, and the West Big Data Hub, and also with LaTanya Sweeney at Harvard. We'd like to provide some ethics and privacy training to all the participants, especially given that this is a healthcare data set. And once again, it's going to be a Kaggle Predictive Analytics Challenge. Now, one thing that's unique about this Datathon versus other Datathons is we do have requirements for female participation. So we do encourage males to participate too, but we ask that the teams are anywhere from 1 to 4 people, and we ask that at least 50% of the team is female. We've had a lot of 100% female teams, but we've also had a lot of 50-50 4-person teams, 50-50 2-person teams. So we're happy with that. We just don't want it to be all male teams. A lot of women are sort of intimidated by the prospect of competing in these Datathons, but we think it's really important to hone your skills, and this is a really great way of doing it. So we're trying to encourage more women to participate in these kind of challenges. And Susan, you've done a lot of work with wearing your other hat on the Datathon as well. So I know you might want to address that later. I mentioned the podcast series. We actually had a fantastic group of women this year, and very exciting. We actually, you can see a couple of our WiDS ambassadors are there too. Lama Massawi from American University of Beirut, as well as Christiane Camden from Total in Paris, and she's originally from Cameroon. So they were 2 of the guests that we had in this last season. We're still launching different seasons. We've had over 20,000 downloads so far, and the momentum is continuing. I mentioned before that we've got this education outreach program. And so basically what we're doing, just to give you a little bit more information about it, is we're providing some of the materials, some of the video sessions that are more accessible, more relatable from a high schooler's perspective, and packaging that in a curriculum guide and offering it to high schools. So that's what the education outreach program, the basic parts of it are. So anyway, just wanted to give you that heads up. Margot is the woman with the microphone. She's the faculty co-director of this conference. And then I also work with Karen Mathis, the other co-director for the conference. And Karen is the one who's in charge of this education outreach. She's also the leader for the Datathon. So there's that. So for the WiDS Ambassador Program, I wanted to, if any of you, I'm not sure if anyone on this call has been with us before, but the basic program is you actually apply, and we ask you to apply just so that we have all of your contact information, and so that we know a little bit about your event, and most importantly, so that we can get the license agreement signed, so that once we're ready to provide you with the regional event logos, you're actually authorized to use them. But all of the WiDS Ambassador Program support is free of charge. As I mentioned, we've got this application with license agreement. We're actually doing more things around event brand consistency. We'll provide an opening video for your event to sort of establish that it's part of the worldwide movement. And we also provide these regional event logos for you. The way that we brand it is Women in Data Science and then the city name. If we have 2 events in a city, we also will put something, the city name at, and then the venue name. So that's our branding guideline for regional events. And then there's some additional guidelines for ArabWIC branding that I'll go into in just a moment. In order to, as Dr. Salna mentioned, we just want to make sure that there's clarity, but that also representation from both groups. So we actually ask to see the agenda before we provide the logos. So we look at the agenda and registration and venue. We also like to have the venue address. And the reason we do that is we actually put you up on our website on a Google map. And so that people can click right through from the Google map to your registration page. We found that to be useful. It's a way of promoting your event. And when you do launch registration, we also support you with social media posts. And we also will be doing several posts around ArabWIC's participation. So I mentioned that we have additional guidelines for ArabWIC. What we want to do is make sure that the WiDS logo describes the event name. So that would be at the top, Women in Data Science, Algiers, for instance, and then it's hosted by ArabWIC. So I know that you've got ArabWIC branding in different cities and different for the different chapters as well. So whatever ArabWIC branding you're using is what you would use here. So I wanted to mention that we've actually got a couple of new things that I wanted to call attention to. We've got better guidelines for social media websites. We've actually even got wireframes for the website just as a suggestion, a place to start. We've also got WiDS Worldwide News. So if you wanted to do audience development with your chapters, you can actually take the WiDS news and forward it to them just to keep people engaged. Post events, if you wanted to do regional event follow-up, if you found that there was a lot of need for that, that's something that we're now allowing for WiDS ambassadors to do. And applications are now open. I've put in the link for how you apply. And now I thought I would just take questions from the group.
There are a lot more people on the call now than when we began, and a lot more chapters represented.
Fabulous. So shall I look at the chat?
It's mostly chit chat at the moment. Does anyone, I can go around the room, the virtual room, and ask people to comment. But first, Wafa Banturki did join. I don't know if you want to say a few words, Wafa, from Algiers.
Hello.
Sure.
Yeah. Hello. Hello. Yes. I'm
Hello.
from Algiers. Is that Wafa Ayed or Wafa
I
or
don't
Wafa
hear
Ben
you.
Turkey, Suzanne?
Wafa Ben Turkey, we were starting
Okay.
with because Wafa Ben Turkey, I think you've been involved, but with the WIDS.
Yeah. First, I'm delighted to be involved with ArabWIC and WIDS in the same time. I had the pleasure to work with Judy, who really supported our work, and we did our first conference in 2017. It was the first Women in Data Science conference. We tried to involve a maximum of women. And exceptionally at that time they allowed us to invite men, because the aim at that time was to encourage more women to get involved in data science. What I wanted to say that this year we are also next year, inshallah, we will be involved with women in data science, but it will be in 2020, and we will feature more Algerian women. We will be, I guess, we will try to be more organized. And I'm once again, I'm really delighted because WIDS, Stanford WIDS trusted me one time more, and hopefully we will get more and more women involved in data science. Thank you.
Thank you, Wafa, and welcome back.
Thank you, Judy.
I do want to mention that in 2017, we were less clear, I think, in our guidelines, and we also did not have a license.
Yeah.
But now we ask that all of the speakers are women.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and so I know you know that, Wafa, as well. So we ask that because we realize that it can be a bit of a slippery slope. We really do want to have males participate as attendees with the Datathon. And we actually have many WIDS ambassadors worldwide who are men. So there are a lot of ways for male allies to participate, but we want to make sure to highlight women who are doing outstanding work and who don't really get an opportunity to be on stage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So, thank you.
And we do, yeah, thank you so much, Wafa Ben Turkey. We have lots of other Wafas on the call, and we also have Dr. Arij on, who's also a very experienced WIDS ambassador. I don't know, Dr. Arij, if you want to say anything to share your experience. I've unmuted you, Dr. Arij, if you do want to say anything.
Thank you very much, Susan, and hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be part of this discussion. Sorry for joining a bit late. I share the same sentiment that Wafa had just expressed, in that we're very grateful for the tremendous support that we had from you, Judy, and the amazing team at Stanford in helping us set up our local events in previous years. It has been a wonderful experience within our region. In Saudi Arabia, we've witnessed growing interest in this event from the community of practitioners, scientists, faculty, students, and more recently with the industry sector. The participation has grown. We've expanded to several cities. I'm happy to see that more ambassadors have expressed interest. They are clustered in some of the large cities in Saudi Arabia. We're hoping that with 2020, we might encourage the ambassadors to go beyond the large cities and perhaps host it in other institutions. At the moment, I know that the network that we have of women in data science ambassadors are interested in hosting in the same cities as last year. We had Jeddah, Ifat University, we had Medina Munawwara, we had 2 in Riyadh. And I know there are more ambassadors, perhaps under the umbrella of the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology coming on board. And we're working in collaboration with the ministry to consider other cities. There is very much interest in expanding to Mecca and the southern region, and this is the work that we are trying to coordinate with the community who has expressed interest. And again, I would close with the same comment in that we have benefited a lot from the coordination with the Stanford team, and we look forward to more collaboration. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share our experience.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arish. Does anyone else want to make a remark? I can unmute them, or oh, there's Yusra has a question. I'll just read it out. I was wondering if there's any material from past conferences that we can refer to just to get a better idea of what they usually look like.
Sure. We actually have, and I'm sure Dr. Reach, and by the way, hi, Dr. Reach. Nice to hear you.
Hello. Great to connect. Thank you.
Yeah. I think that Dr. Reach is a one-woman movement herself. She is just incredible what she has done in Saudi Arabia. And so Dr. Reach has several examples of great events that she's put together. We also have a website of all the regional events that were planned for 2019, and so I can definitely share that link. Let me see if I can do that. And you can actually see several, however many examples you'd like. But I think that if you look at what Dr. Reach has done, if you look at also what's been done at the American University of Beirut, which I know that ArabWIC has been involved somewhat with the American University of Beirut, but more in the background. But the American University of Beirut also has just a very large event. They had about 1,600 attendees, not that we expect anything close to that. We typically have more like 100, but Dr. Arij, I know you've had a few hundred at your events, and they keep growing. But let me see if I can just get into the website so that I can.
Yeah, and I'm just putting the link in the chat. I got to the events from 2019, so I've put the link in the chat for Yusra to look at. And some are more elaborate, Yusra. You don't have to do a very elaborate event. I mean, the American University of Beirut one is very, it's a lot of things. Judy, am I right? You don't have to have like 20 speakers and whatever. You can make a small event. It's quite okay.
We've had everything from 3 people in a conference room watching the live stream to, on the other side of the spectrum, the American University of Beirut, and then everything in between. So for instance, a great event might be a half-day session where you actually have, and by the way, you can actually have anything from 2 hours to 2 days. And you can have maybe a morning of speakers who are local, and then maybe you can do some workshop, or you could do a poster session. There are so many ways of making this happen. And we encourage people to do whatever is, first of all, manageable, and also what works really well for the area.
We've also, in groups that I'm involved with, like at work and so on, there are watching parties. So you can just do, as Judy mentioned, a watching, a group of people in a room, watching the live stream or watching the videos together. Any more questions in the chat, or I can unmute, or you can unmute?
If there are no questions, I'd like to say a few things, Susan.
Go ahead. Please go ahead, Sana.
So again, thank you so much, Judy. This has been, even for me, I've learned a lot actually from the presentation. And again, this is really valuable having you with us. And maybe what we could do is have more webinars dedicated to how to work on the WIDS events for ArabWIC before our global sort of ArabWIC events for WIDS in March, which we are planning. So I hope we continue with that, Susan. And again, thank you, Susan, for doing this. I want to thank all the chapters that have been really involved with WIDS and their wonderful event, from Wafa Wahida in Qatar and Aya Sufyan in Palestine and Arij in Saudi Arabia. You're amazing. And Ala Shaheen in Dubai, and Wafa in Algeria, and Lamia in Rabat. And of course, you know, the Rabat one was part of our conference, and it was really incredible. So again, thank you for all your work. And next year in 2020 in March, as I said, he wasn't on the call, I just want to repeat it, that it's so important that we partner with WIDS to really make these events reach more people. And we're going to keep working on making them more on the quality of the speakers and so on. And I think what I propose is to start with this committee, Lamia, Wafa, Aya Sufan, Arij, Ala Shaheen, Wafa, led by Susan and Manar, and Arij, to put like a resource manual or tips to follow up with the chapter and lead these events for ArabWIC. So again, it's a partnership. We're collaborating, we'll work on the branding, and also, so I would like each chapter to have a representative. I mean, we have 19 chapters. I would like each chapter to have an ambassador for WIDS, and then we can send the names also to Judy, and they can also fill the application. And then each of the picture will point to the LinkedIn of the person, and also ArabWIC chapter. And we will also in ArabWIC have a page on the website. We're so sorry, by the way, about the website. We've been hacked, so we had to move the website to another hosting company. So we're working on that. It's a bit slow. Again, as you know, we're all volunteers here, so we're doing our best. So we're hoping within a month, everything will be up to date. So we'll have a page dedicated to all the ambassador and chapters and work for ArabWIC. So again, I just want to make sure that all the chapters also, we are now going to have to impose like really strict branding similar to Stanford. So it's going to be, as Judy mentioned, it will be, each event will be basically the WIDS logo from Stanford, and it will be led by ArabWIC with the chapter. And because it's so important for us to also keep our branding as well. So we'll work together. We already reached an agreement with Judy. Judy's been amazing about that. So we want to make sure that ArabWIC is represented on every event that we do. So the branding is important. And we will support you. We'll get speakers as we did in the past, and we will do everything possible to make the event work. So I think really this committee, Susan, you know, of the people who are already ambassadors, from Lamia to Wafa, Aya Safan, Arij, Allah, Shaheen, Wafa, and other people too can be joining you on the committee to make this an annual event for us. And you guys can coordinate with Judy to make it every year a much, you know, even better year, and we reach more chapters. So I hope you know, this work with ArabWIC, it will be consistent, it will be supported every year, and we'll make sure to reach more people, and the event will be more quality. And we're here to support you, we're here to help in every way. And we're gonna keep bringing more partnership, more people to you, just like we did with Stanford WIDS. We brought it, you know, the connection, we'll keep doing that more, and we'll have more support. So I just want to also take the opportunity to tell you that we're doing a lot of events. So we're also planning hackathons in November for ArabWIC all over the Arab world. We're also talking to Judy to possibility of doing datathons as well, to be part of that. Already Susan is on the leadership of that as well. So we will look into more partnership with Facebook, with Google Women Tech Makers, and other partnership as well. So right now we're gonna focus on the hackathons in November. So I hope Susan will update you on that. You know, I'll let her end with that. And then also the WIDS event in March. So these will be coordinated events. And then also, I want to remind you that our conference will be held in July 2021 in Jordan. So we need all the help we can get. And we'll also have presence for WIDS. And hopefully, Judy, you can also come and maybe invite more speakers to be at the conference as well. So keep in mind these events that we're working on. So it's going to be a fall hackathons every year, a WIDS hackathon in March, and we will have the conference every 2 years. And then we're just asking the chapters to have 8 meetings a year and to do 4 events a year. So whatever you want, but 2 of these events will be the hackathon and the WIDS. Susan will be our lead program, so she will follow up, but she will keep having these wonderful technical webinars every few weeks or so and leading our program. Manar is going to be leading our chapters, so she's been doing an amazing job following up with everybody. So I just want to remind everybody that thank you so much for all what you do with us. You've been amazing. We really appreciate it. And, ask Manar and Susan for anything that you need. We're here for you. And, and Razan has also been working part-time for us, so you can check with her as well. So we're trying to get as many resources and support for you. I'm gonna stop here, but please always stay in touch if you have any initiatives or any lead or any ideas, or you wanna participate in the global way, please let us know. There will be a committee for the hackathon. Let Susan know if you wanna join it, a committee for the WIDS. So let also Susan know that you're gonna join us. And again, any suggestion, we're happy to have it. So thank you, Susan, so much. Thank you, Judy. And thank you everybody for attending. And I look
forward thank you so much, Sana. I don't want everybody to drop. I just have a quick question for everyone. Can people put in the chat who's planning to run a hackathon as we suggested in the next, towards the end of the year? In November, can people put in a note down in the chat if they plan a hackathon, just so that we see which chapters are planning?
Not.
Can you all do that in the chat? Say I am running we are running a hackathon. Please all do that, because we're trying to decide how to support you in the hackathon, and I'd like, as Sana suggested, to make a small group. I don't see any responses about hackathon yet in the chat.
Susan, hi Susan. So as a chapter, it's like we never knew about the plan of like organizing hackathons towards the end of the year. So we're already like working towards another event that is in collaboration with what is called Indaba. Like they support African machine learning in the African continent. So I was wondering, like, where is that mentioned? Like, are you having a mailing list that we're not included in, or maybe meetings that are being held?
Right.
That we're not aware of?
Manar, are you still on? Just looking to see. Yes, Manar. Let me unmute you, Manar. You're unmuted. Manar, I think
yes. Yeah, what was the question?
The question was like, how did we communicate about the hackathon? I think it was in the WhatsApp groups. Is that right?
Yes.
So I think maybe Ala, are you in the WhatsApp group managed by Manar?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in the WhatsApp group, but I didn't like, maybe I didn't notice it being discussed there.
Okay. So we see Saudi Arabia and Tunisia are in for the hackathon. So what I'll do is I'll set up a short call or a session with Arij and Wafa Hakim to like see what they're planning. And Allah, it's fine if you have other events. I think that's okay.
Susan, I would like to suggest that we should have like a monthly meeting with the chapters. I mean, it can be very quick. So it could be a half hour. Like, for example, this time seems to be really a good time, because if somebody doesn't pay attention, and this way you can feature a chapter doing something, and then or if they ask questions. So I think I would like to see maybe by next week a meeting with all chapters, talk about these programs and how we can support them, and also ways of communications.
Absolutely. So Dr. Manar, I think you had that in plan, right?
Yes, the last Saturday for each month. This is what we planned for.
Okay.
But we didn't meet last month because we were busy for collecting the newsletter material.
Yes, the Grace Hopper.
Yes.
So can you send the call from now, have Razan follow up and send the call, and also not just in the WhatsApp, please use the ArabWIC general chapter and also the Google email, the ArabWIC Google email, to reach everybody as well.
Yeah, for me, I use the WhatsApp, and we agreed that Razan will send by mailing list.
And the Facebook group, use the ArabWIC.
Yeah. She already sent in the always.
Yeah,
she always sent in the Facebook.
But also each of the chapter, they have a like page and they have a Facebook page and they have a chapter. It's their responsibility to share whatever we put in the WhatsApp with their chapters. So please, as leaders,
you can tell them, inshallah.
Because also for the chapters, one of the things that I've noticed is that it's keeping everything in the chapters in the WhatsApp. So please, whatever we post, you need to take it to the ArabWIC general Facebook, and also in your chapter, you need to activate your chapters so everybody knows and they can join. Anybody can join the meeting. So I hope so we can reach a wider audience. But Manar, I know you're doing an amazing job, so thank you so much.
Inshallah, no problem, of course. Yes, inshallah, we'll tell them that to post anything that we announce in WhatsApp and the main channel for the Facebook in ArabWIC in their chapters Facebook pages, inshallah.
And the meetings should be like announced ahead of time and reminded like a week before, and then a few days before, and then a day before, so this way they can attend.
And during, as Manar demonstrated, is very effective.
Yes, exactly. I agree.
Thank you, Susan.
That was very good. Very good. Okay, so we'll work on that, and we'll start with the two chapters who are in for the hackathon, and maybe have them. Plus, and you had made a plan, Manar, with the monthly calls, so we'll get that going again after the big effort for the newsletter for Grace Hopper, to coincide with Grace Hopper. Now we should thank Judy again for the excellent presentation. It was really nice of you to take time to join us, Judy.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you.
Yeah, please thank Judy in the chat as well, because I'll send her the chat. So thank you so much, Judy, and Sana as well. Thank you, and everybody for joining.
And thank you, Susan, so much. Well.
Okay, I'll post the recording very soon.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
And Judy, if you could send the slides, that would be awesome.
And also, can you send both the slides and the recording and post it everywhere? Send it in the email to the Google group, post it in the Facebook ArabWIC, and then the chapters can post it in their chapters, and then in WhatsApp as usual. So Razan, please do that. And Susan, follow up. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Judy, and everyone.